The Roy Rogers Show, starring Roy Rogers, King of the Cowboys, Trigger, his Golden Palomino, and Dale Evans, Queen of the West, with Pat Brady, his comical sidekick, and Roy's wonder dog, Bullet.
Well, riders, Trigger here is raring to go, so let's get started with today's story.
What's the matter, Jake? What's holding them up?
I don't know, they must be bogged down up ahead.
Come on, get up there! Ha! Put into it! Ha! Ha!
Get down off that horse and give us a hand. Put your shoulder against one of these posts and heave.
I got a better idea.
What are you trying to do, make those mules break loose?
Just trying to get them to pull harder, that's all.
I said cut it out. Hey, Dale, there's a carnival that was due in Mineral City this morning.
Yeah, it looks like they might be having trouble.
Come on, Pat. Nellybelle might come in handy.
Why don't you do something? Make them stop.
Oh, between these mules and the hired hands. Hey, you fellas, now stop that. If you hurt each other, the show will fold for it open.
You're both acting like a couple of kids.
Hey, stranger, come here and help me stop this fight.
If this is a private fight, I don't know.
They ain't got any right fighting. They're ruining my property.
Your property? How come?
Well, they're both stars in my carnival show. If they ruin themselves, they're ruining my property.
Well, I reckon you got something there.
Oh, stop it now, will you? Or your face looks like a hot mush Polish.
Oh, Roy, why don't you stop?
I'll do my best.
Roy will take care of them.
All right, then come on, break it up. You keep out of this. We don't want any strangers mixing in with our affairs.
Hey, you can't do that to my buddy. Well, I'm mighty grateful to you, stranger. Now, if you happen to be in Mineral City tomorrow, drop in and see my show. Free of charge, of course.
Well, thank you.
Thanks. We're on our way to Mineral City. Why don't you follow us in?
If we can get these Missouri Liberty horses to see it our way.
Those mules are sure ornery.
Our partner here claims he knows a lot about mules. Maybe we can get him to help.
Yeah, he looks a little mule-eared to me.
Listen here, Sonny. I was skinning mules when you was wearing diapers for going to meeting clothes. Let me at 'em.
Yee-haw! Now, what do you wait?
When Pop was wearing diapers, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hee-haw yourself.
Couple of free passes for the advertising.
Well, thank you. We'll all go. Tomorrow night, the restaurant will be closed. Would you like a cup of coffee?
Oh, thanks. I got to get along with these posters.
Hey, Pop. Them two banty roosters that Roy and I separated and then had to whip behaving?
Well, they just ain't talking to each other, if that's what you mean, and I guess they won't until...
Until what?
Well, until something happens to one of them.
Both sweet on that pretty young gal, huh?
Why not? Her father owns the show.
Well, maybe they're sweet on her just because she's pretty.
Well, anyone could tell that.
Yeah, and you knew all about mules, too.
going on in that carnival, anyway?
I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, it's not good.
Yeah, even Bullet knows there's something wrong.
What time does the show start, Pop? 7:30 tonight, neighbors. Tell all your friends. A little more to the left. That's it. Tie it off. Well, hello there, folks.
Hi.
It's like you're about ready to open up the box office.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're going to enjoy it. The biggest little show Mineral City has ever seen.
You can say that again, Mr. Barton. Why, the last show we had here was when Nellie Perkins was left waiting at the church by Peg-Leg Thomas. He skipped the parts unknown. Hopped, I should have said.
And what happened to Nellie?
Oh, she married a kangaroo on the rebound.
You know, young fella, you ought to be in my show, telling funny stories.
You'd be sorry the second night.
With Dimples in the show, there wouldn't be a second night.
Dimples?
Can we help you out with anything around here, Mr. Barton?
Les is the name to you and to everybody. Mr. Barton was my father, rest his soul. Oh, thanks. I think we've got everything well in hand. I'll be saving the best seats in the house for you tonight. Dimples.
Thank you. We'll be looking forward to it.
You know, there goes a nice feller. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he likes your jokes, doesn't he?
Well, he asked me to join his show, and that's a professional opinion. Hey, what's that? Hey, them bullwhips do everything but talk, don't they?
Yeah, if you know how to use them.
Hey, we're really looking forward to your act.
Well, I'm not looking forward to doing it. What's the matter? Old man Barton's got me playing second fiddle to that off-key baritone Tom Wallace.
Oh, I don't blame you for being mad. You know, I'd rather be watching bullwhipping any day than listening to some feller bellering like a bogged-down calf. Here, let me fix them for you. What you doing, just practicing?
We call it rehearsing.
Hey! Hey!
Hey! You didn't feel that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Where there's no sense, there's no feeling.
I'll bet you could have broke my neck if you'd have wanted to.
Maybe.
Well, thanks for not trying.
Hey, you're quite an expert with that whip. Thanks, Roy. Say, I could sure use someone to help me rehearse my act.
Listen, I don't know a dang thing about bullwhips.
You don't have to, it's easy. You see, in my act, I need a subject to wrap the whip around his neck. And you're a perfect subject.
I am? Now, just a cotton-picking minute. I'll have you know I'm very fond of my neck.
Yeah, that's 'cause his neck leads to his stomach, and he's right fond of that stomach, too.
I wouldn't hurt you. Mr. Barton said you ought to be in the show, so why don't you help the man out? Stand over there and help me rehearse my act.
All right.
How's that?
I didn't feel a thing.
Joe, looks like you've got yourself somebody to practice with. Yep.
We'll see you later, Pat. If we see a man walking around with no head on, we'll know who it is.
Yeah, and if you see a head rolling around singing I ain't got nobody, you'll know whose it is. Is that the best you can do, Joe?
I'll do better tonight.
You know, after the first show, I'll be known as Fearless Patrick Aloysius Brady, the man with nerves of steel.
Well, I see you got yourself a boy.
Couldn't ask for better.
Looks like I'm going to be in your show, Les.
That's all right with me, my boy, as long as you don't expect to be paid for it.
Well, if you're finished with me, I'll be going, but I'll see you later.
Okay, and thanks.
Now, Joe, I want you and Tom to patch up your differences. After all, the show comes first.
Well, maybe so. But Tom's got the idea he's the big cheese just because he's singing with your daughter.
No. It ain't anything like that. Although, Tom and Mary are a fine singing team.
Tom and Mary.
Tom and Mary, that's all I hear.
Now, control that temper of yours. And while we're on that subject, you might as well know how I feel about Mary.
Looks like Dad is sounding off about me again.
She's a young girl. I don't want her rushing into no marriages. She's too young to know her own mind. So I want you to stay away from her. And that goes for Tom, too. Now get on with your rehearsing. Stop being jealous of Tom.
Well, he better watch his step or he's going to have trouble from me.
Sounds like you're having feller trouble, Mary.
Oh, Dad makes me sick. He thinks I'm still in pigtails.
Well, that's the way fathers are.
Well, I'm going to make up my own mind about this. Come on, I'll show you how we have the barn rigged up.
Hi. Takes a lot of work to put on a show, doesn't it? Hi, Mary. Dale?
Oh, hi, Roy.
He's sure a strange one, isn't he?
Yes, Jake never says very much.
Seems to be carrying a grudge all the time.
Well, the truth is, he might be a little hurt. You see, he used to be part owner of this outfit until Dad bought him out.
Well, why'd he sell?
He had to. He got in a gambling jam and needed the money. But he always seemed to blame Dad for it. Never could figure out why.
Whoa.
What's that? What happened?
I don't know, but it looks serious.
Dad!
Dale, stay with her. I'll get the doctor.
Right. Mary, please. We shouldn't try to move him until the doctor comes.
He's dead. I know he is.
Take it easy, honey.
Take a look at this, Sheriff. Look at that mark.
Looks like a whip might have made it.
By golly, you're right, Pat. Funny kind of a braid mark, though.
I think it's a bullwhip.
A bullwhip? Well, you don't reckon that Barton's neck was...
That's right, Pat. I'm afraid Barton's neck was broken by one.
Oh, it must be Joe. He's the only guy that can handle a whip like that.
Now, hold your horses. Let's wait and see what the doctor has to say.
That's right. But if Barton was killed that way, and this here Joe was a bullwhip expert, then it figures that he's guilty.
Maybe so. Maybe somebody wanted to make him look guilty.
Well, Dale said she heard Barton and Joe arguing about Mary.
I'll admit that it looks bad for Joe, but he wasn't the only one who had a grudge against Barton.
Well, I'm going over and take a look at those bullwhips of Joe's and see if any of them compare with the braid marks on this neck of you.
Be sure and hang on to this. The killer doesn't know it, but these whip marks are just as damaging as fingerprints.
Pat, take care of the office while we're gone.
Sure enough.
Is that all the whips?
That's all I own.
What about it, Jake? Any whips missing?
I'm responsible for the props, see? And I take good care of them, see?
You don't think I killed Les, do you?
I'm not making any accusations right now, but I'll tell you one thing, young feller. You or nobody else in this carnival is going to leave Mineral City until I say so. You savvy?
I hear you want to see me, Sheriff.
What do you know about this murder?
It was done with a whip, wasn't it?
You accusing me?
The whip didn't fall out of any tree.
Why, you dirty two-bit crooner.
Here, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, cut it off, both of you. You're in enough trouble already. Now simmer down and stay put. That goes for all of you. Roy, I'm stumped. There's not a whip in the lot with a braid marking like that.
Well, maybe you haven't seen all the whips.
Maybe not.
Why don't I take a look around tonight?
Okay, but watch out. Those three ain't exactly friends of yours.
Something's bothering him.
Well, let him out, huh?
Okay.
Hey, he's heading somewhere in an awful hurry. Something must be wrong. We better follow him.
Thanks, Trigger. Oh, Lord.
What's the matter?
What happened?
Somebody tried that bullwhip trick on me.
But why you?
I don't know. I guess they saw me searching that wagon.
You got any idea who it was?
No. That whip went around my neck and I was out like a light. We better report this to the sheriff.
Good thing you told Bullet to keep an eye on those Carnival folks.
I didn't. He must have taken off last night and done a little investigating on his own.
Head wound. He's been shot.
Wonder how he got out here.
I don't know. We'll soon find out. It looks like he's coming too. All right. What have you got to say for yourself? What are you doing out here against my orders?
I just took a ride to stretch my legs. Somebody ambushed me.
Any idea who did it?
Only one man would do it, Tom Wallace.
Okay. Let's go talk to Tom.
We better fix this wound up first, Sheriff. I'll get the bandage.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do, Tom. I hate to break up the show, but I don't see how I can keep it going without Dad.
Honey, why don't we get married? I can help you run the carnival. Only there's one performer that's got to go.
Joe's all right. He's just hot-headed.
Yeah, maybe hot-headed enough to kill your father.
Don't say that, Tom.
Well, who else could have done it with a bullwhip?
Joe! What happened to you?
That's what I'd like to know.
Tom, where were you this morning?
Right here, helping around the wagons. Why?
Somebody drag us Joe here.
He ain't accusing me, is he? Because if he is, let me tell you something. If I'd have shot at Joe, I wouldn't have missed.
Oh, no?
Now, wait a minute, you. Don't start fighting again. Maybe you better come along with me, young fella. You'll be safer in jail.
Jail?
I'm sorry, but he disobeyed my orders. I told him not to leave Mineral City.
Now, wait a minute.
Why don't you give him another chance, Sheriff?
Please, Sheriff.
Well, all right.
Joe, you've caused enough trouble around here. If we keep you out of jail, you better behave. Let's go back to your office.
Why I'm listening to you, that man is dangerous.
He isn't half as dangerous as the man who shot him.
Oh, how do you know he didn't shoot himself just to throw suspicion on Tom?
Sheriff, if you're going to catch Barton's real murderer, you've got to give Joe a free rein. I've got an idea it might turn up the killer.
What is it?
Well, I might be sticking my neck out. But you wait and see.
All right. But if Joe decides to stretch his legs again, he gets locked up.
Come on, Bullet. Pat, here's an old bullwhip I dug up in the livery stable. Now do your stuff.
You sure you know what you're doing?
I'll be right behind the fence. If you get into any trouble, I'll know it before you do.
You and your ideas. I feel like the little brown hen that was fixing to kiss the hawk.
What are you trying to do?
Oh, I'm practicing my bullwhipping. Sure wish Joe'd come along and give me a few pointers.
Joe could learn a lot about bullwhipping himself.
Oh, is that so? I thought he was an expert. You know, I can't figure out why I keep missing these cans.
First place, you're standing wrong. You're holding the whip wrong and your timing is off.
Oh, is that all?
Here, let me show you. You hold the whip like this. You stand like this. You use your wrist, like this.
Huh. You ain't so good either. Now, if Joe was here, he'd
Listen,
show you.
I had a whip act myself. I learned it in Australia where there's real bullwhipping.
Well, then why don't you show me a few of your tricks?
With this whip, it's off balance.
Well, that's all I got. Say, you sure you ain't giving me a lot of malarkey about knowing how to use one of these?
You wait here. I'll get one of the whips from the show.
He's falling for it, Pat.
Yeah, but what if he gets one of Joe's whips?
He can't. They're all locked up. I saw to that. Yell if you need me.
Yeah, I never heard of anybody yelling with a broken neck.
Here, throw that thing away and watch this. See that? This whip is balanced right.
Where'd you get it?
I just remembered I had it in my traveling box. Watch this.
Hey, you're real good. Almost as good as Joe.
I'm better than Joe.
You are? Well, can you do that stunt that he does where he coils that whip around my neck without hurting me?
It's a cinch. Sure, I can coil it around your neck and you won't even feel it. Stand over there.
You sure you can do this
It's a cinch.
without breaking my neck?
You afraid?
No, just making sure. If it's all right with you, I'll tie this handkerchief up kind of high, you know, just in case.
You ready?
I guess so.
You didn't feel that, did you?
No. You're real good.
Pat, let me take a look at that neckerchief. You better get the sheriff. Tell him to bring that neckerchief back here that Barton was wearing.
What's the idea?
I want to compare the whip marks on him. We'll wait here for the sheriff.
You're crazy.
My neck out. Why, I could have been killed deader than a deer taking a shortcut through a hunter's camp.
Roy, what made you think it was Tom?
Well, he seemed a little too anxious to marry Barton's daughter so he'd have control of the carnival. Besides, if Joe wanted to get rid of Mr. Barton, he certainly wouldn't use a bullwhip.
Oh, my neck!
Gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare him like that. It was just my way of saying hello.
Well, from the looks of Pat, he just said goodbye. Joe and I are getting married. We just wanted to thank you for everything and ask if you'd stand up for us.
We'd be honored.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Me too. Why, I'd be willing to stand up for anybody.